Hello, I'm Roger from the Mission Office of the Missionaries of the Sacred Heart. I've been talking a bit from our readings the last two Sundays on the reign of God, the kingdom of God, the place where the law and the love of God are present in people's lives. I want to talk a little bit about when I was in Papua New Guinea, some of the places I went and the difficulty of getting to those places, which is all about bringing the reign of God, the message of God, the good news of Jesus Christ to people who want to hear it. And for 10 years I was in a bush parish in Port Moresby Archdiocese, a place called Borrogona in Rigo. And all the people there who were Catholics and wanted to be Catholics did so because they wanted to. One stage, I was going up to the furthest station out to visit the people. Very small villages, very few people, right up in the mountains. We did have a school there, but it never operated very well. So these people were very much disadvantaged, a long way from the road, a long way from all the benefits of roads and civilization and cities. There was, of course, up there no road, no power, no school, no facilities at all. So I wanted to go up there. So there was another station, which was one of our main stations, which was closer to the road. So I drove up the road about an hour, which was fairly good going. I walked for 2 hours, and I stayed 1 or 2 nights in this station called Dorum. And the youth there had decided they will come up with me, and they will go up there as a type of mission. And these young people were very good with music, liturgy, and many other things. So we set off as a group. There must have been 20 or 30 people walking up these hills. So we were headed out, and to get from Dorum to the outstation called Irorunomu was 5 or 6 hours walk. It was a long walk. Anyway, we were walking up, and I sat down to have a rest. And the group that were back down a little bit further down the road, there was a lot of talking and laughing, and more talking and more laughing. And I said to some of the other young people, "What are they all laughing about?" And they said, "Oh, that fellow is telling stories." I said, "Which fellow?" They said, "Photocopy." I said, "Excuse me, who's Photocopy?" "Oh, that's Paul so-and-so, Paul Wetter." And I said, "Why do you call him Photocopy?" I said, "Because he's just like his father." And some of you might remember earlier on when I was doing these broadcasts, I talked about this fellow that accompanied me up on the same trip. That was the father, this was the son, and they were both great storytellers. So while they were walking, he was telling stories and he had everybody laughing. Anyway, we continued up, got to Irorunomu, and we had a few days there. And these young people, they played guitar and sang, and they taught the young people up there the songs. There were many things that they were able to impart. And these two groups, they were the same language group, and there were some relationships between them by intermarriage. So they became a real missionary group in themselves. And they were very much alive and very much outgoing and very talented in what they were doing. And when we were coming back, we walked back to another village and we stayed there the night. And I remember clearly it was the time for breadfruit. There were two types of breadfruit. One of them had rather large nuts inside, and they'd break out these nuts and they'd roast them in the fire. And then they'd rake them out and crack open the shell, and they'd eat the flesh inside, which was an interesting taste, in some ways a bit bland, but once you got used to it, it was quite tasty. So while they were sitting there waiting for these to roast, they were of course telling stories and talking about all kinds of things, and some of the youth were singing songs and whatnot, and I remember sitting down there with them and sharing with the breadfruit and eating, and I decided to go to bed, so I said good night and I slept, and the next morning I woke up and there's still people sitting around the fire and they're still eating breadfruit. And I said to them, have you people been eating these breadfruit all night? And of course I said no, that we slept, and they were a different group of people that were out there at that time. So, but that was part of their life. And when I went bush like that on patrol, I shared their life. And to sleep, if I was lucky, I might have a mat, otherwise I just slept on the wooden floor. And being young and fit at that stage, all of that didn't matter, so it was quite good. But that was out there to bring the kingdom of God. And in this particular story, there was a way of building relationships between one group of young people and another group of young people in the midst of a community with all the elder people, the adults, the old people and the kids and everybody else. So in that sense, the reign of God, the law and the love of God had come to those people. Have a great day on mission today.